Hello everybody, who is here from INNO3D, welcome to another video, and today we're going to talk about Gray Zone Warfare, the tactical shooter we've all been waiting for, what games like Direct Contact could have been, the supposed Tarkov killer, the extraction shooter to end all extraction shooters. But, is it any of these things? Is it worth buying in its current state? And, finally, is it any good? Let's find out. Just a disclaimer, this game is still early access and a work in progress, so it might change significantly in the coming weeks and months. Gray Zone Warfare launched into early access on April 30th, which was a few days ago, and the response from the community and player base has been very divided. And by divided I mean between players who love it and really enjoy it, and players screaming bloody murder asking for refunds. The Gray Zone Warfare Discord has been flooded with comments to the point the admins had to implement slow mode. Same thing with the Steam reviews. As of this morning, close to 20,000 reviews, and it's mixed. And it's the same early access game problems. Positive reviews from players with 5, 10, even 100 hours in game, and negative reviews from players with 20 and 30 minutes in the game, so nothing new. At this point, I have about 12 hours in the game. First of all, let's remember that this game is still early access. Yes, there are bugs, like players spawning with no heads, no clothes, no gear. Yes, the AI is sometimes broken, but it's all to be expected, and to be honest, if you wanted a polished, bug-free game, you should have waited for full release. Like Cyberpunk. Remember how good that was on release? Now, I'm running quite a beefy rig. I have a Ryzen 7 7800X3D, 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM at 6000 MHz, and a 4080 GPU. This setup is enough to run any game currently out there. I run DCS World at max graphics in 4K. So the players with 4090s and Ryzen 9s that get 20 FPS, your rig isn't the issue. I get steady, smooth 60 FPS on the ground, and it sometimes drops to 50 in the air. That's all acceptable. There have also been a lot of people saying that they've been lied to by the devs. Their PC meets the minimum requirements and they're getting low FPS and the game looks like crap. Well, does the game run? Yes, at 15 FPS. Okay then, so your PC can run it. The devs said your PC can run it, and it does. No one said it would be an enjoyable experience though. As you can see here, my graphics settings are set to epic, as high as it goes, without FSA or DLSS. I use XeSS to maximize quality, and the game runs smooth. Now there are a lot of videos already out on YouTube about how to maximize your FPS, how to get your game to run smooth, even on lower end PCs. But keep this in mind, this is Unreal Engine 5, and the map and environment are very detailed, so don't expect to run this on your grandma's old sewing machine. You need a decent PC. Not saying you need to burn a hole in your pocket, but you can't expect to get good frames on a 10-year-old PC. Alright, let's create a character. The editor is pretty rudimentary for now. You have a few faces to choose from, a couple of haircuts and some facial hair, boom, moving on. You can change your clothes afterwards, but that's all cosmetic. You can't really see your character anyway, so anything you do here is for others around you. All you can see is basically your gloves, maybe your forearms when you're holding the weapon. There are 3 factions to choose from, which is mostly important for making sure you spawn in the same base camp as your buddies that you're playing with. As of the last update, there's a character wipe option, which deletes your toon and allows you to make a whole new one. You get to choose your faction again and all that, so if you chose wrong, not all is lost. The toon reset option has a 1-hour cooldown and it will shut down your game, so don't panic, it wasn't a crash. In the main menu, when choosing servers, you have a choice between Warfare, which is PvEVP, and Joint Operations, which is PvE. So far, I've only played on PvE servers and the community has been great. If you get killed too many times, which I have, since I tried soloing this, you will eventually be broke with no weapons, no gear, no nothing. You'll have your clothes and a knife. But there will always be someone in base camp that will drop you a gun and some ammo to keep you going. Or you can just tag along with a group and loot the bodies they leave behind until you have enough to, finish your current task and gear up again. Or you can just wipe. We're told that every major update will wipe the progress anyway, so grinding up your character this early is an exercise in futility. And as for the PvP servers, apparently there's a lot of team killing. People spawn in and get instantly domed and looted by a teammate. I'm told LZ camping was also an issue before release, but that's now been sort of addressed as you can now shoot out of the chopper and, kind of defend yourself. I've seen players on Discord complaining about waiting in queue for hours to load into a server, but I haven't noticed this. First time I tried, I got disconnected twice and then got straight in on the 3rd try. It took just a few seconds. This probably depends on your connection and which server you're trying to load into. These are all normal growing pains. I'm sure it will all be addressed soon. Alright, let's take a look at the gameplay. First of all, the game itself looks gorgeous, absolutely breathtaking. Love it. Lighting is superb, guns look good gun animations, guns feel crisp when shooting. AI animations are also decent, there aren't any blood spatter animations when you shoot an enemy, you fire, and if you're accurate, the enemy goes down. Simple. Also sounds great. Guns sound good for the most part, enemies talking to each other, bullets hitting near you and distant gunfire coming from different directions. It all sounds great and really immerses you in the environment. The only issue is the ambient sound, which is a bit too loud sometimes. Insects and frogs can sound like they're inside your head, and sometimes they cut in and out completely. Every time you log in, you spawn into Basecamp, which looks great, but there isn't anything here that you really need to concern yourself with. Unlike some other games,
Bruh.
Basecamp is just a place where you access your vendors to buy, sell gear, get missions, which are called tasks here for some reason. Basecamp is also the only place you can log off safely. If you log out in the bush, you'll lose all the gear you had on you and spawn into Basecamp with just a knife, so keep that in mind. Vendors are accessed easily through the menu, just press tab or escape. You don't have to search the whole base for a store or something. There are 3 vendors available to you at the beginning, I guess you have to unlock others as you progress. You have Handshake, he's got gear, helmets, armor, backpacks and such. Then you got Gunny, he's got weapons, ammo and attachments. And finally you have Labrat, and she's got meds, bandages, food and water. That's pretty much all you need to get started. There's not a lot of gear to choose from, a few weapons and attachments, so I'm guessing you have to unlock the rest as you go. The weapon customization needs work though, it is pretty confusing. Money is a bit of an issue, as you have to buy all your gear, weapons, attachments, ammo, bandages, food, water, everything. And as I mentioned earlier, you get killed enough times without coming back to loot your body, eventually you will end up broke. Completing tasks gets you cash, some gear, experience and reputation, but they don't pay much in the way of cash, at least not in the beginning. So be very careful with your money, don't buy attachments and stuff you don't need, at least until you have some money in the bank. Now that you got your weapons, you got your meds, you're all geared up, it's time to head out into the world. Also, unlike some other games, you can call for a chopper to take you to your LZ of choice, provided you have the LZ unlocked. Unlocking them is easy, just tag along with someone that's already been there and you're golden. Only 3 choppers can be in the air at any given time, so sometimes you'll have to wait and spam the call for transport button until you get a ride. I'm sure this will be addressed at some point, but for now it really isn't a big deal. Now there is apparently a storyline here, giving the game a sort of RPG-ish quality, but I guess that either isn't in the game yet, or I just haven't progressed far enough to notice. Either way, it will be interesting to see how the devs incorporate RPG elements into the game. Now, Grey Zone Warfare is a game that only very few people can play solo successfully. You need to be really good to play solo. It's also just more fun with a team. The good thing is that in-game voice comms work, so you can just talk to others in Basecamp and team up. The settings menu has both local and radio comms, but you can't change the keybinds for it yet. The keybinds for it aren't even in the settings menu. I had to ask in their Discord what the default keybinds were. And so far, only local comms work and it's very quiet. If there's a chopper nearby or shooting, forget about hearing what the other person's saying. Alright, let's talk about AI for a bit. AI is decent for the most part. They will shoot you on sight, but they aren't aimbots. Well, most of them. Every once in a while, you'll get headshotted out of nowhere and respawn in Basecamp. Sometimes the AI will just straight up go brain dead, fire off a few shots and walk away. And sometimes you'll run into a superhuman T-800 and you'll need to pour a case of ammo into them at close range. I've been told that this used to be more common, but it only happened to me twice so far, so it really isn't a big deal. Also, since the last update, AI seems to have been given extensive training in X-ray vision, headshotting players from stupid range through foliage and walls. Again, this will be worked on, I'm sure. Alright, the health system. It's different. It's closer to Scum than Call of Duty. There are no hit points, but injuries you'll need to heal with bandages, tourniquets, painkillers, and such. Different injuries need to be treated differently with different items. But there's a lot more than just getting shot. There's bruising, dizziness, nausea, coughing, pain, you get tired, winded, your vision goes all over the place. It can feel a bit oppressive, but once you get your head around how it works, it just adds to the immersion. And it's very effective in discouraging you from yeeting yourself into an enemy's guns blazing. Of course, you need to eat and drink, and if you get dehydrated, you start having problems. You get dehydrated a lot faster than you normally would IRL, but yeah, that's to be expected. Always have food and water with you, problem solved. So, let's recap the gameplay loop. You get your gear, call in a chopper, you go to your LZ of choice, complete your tasks, and you go back to an LZ, call in the chopper, and exfil. Sounds simple and easy, right? Right. Also, never, ever miss a chance to say, "Get to the chopper!" Yeah. Moving on. It also sounds boring, but this game is a lot of things, boring is not one of them. Death can come around any corner, even from places you've cleared. AI bots respawn on a 15-minute timer, so always be on your toes as they can come at you from angles you don't expect. Also be prepared for a bot that's killed you to camp your body when you come back to reclaim your gear. Speaking of loot, there has been a lot of complaints that there isn't enough loot in the game. Well, this isn't Borderlands and it sure as shit isn't Tarkov. This is a realistic, tactical shooter. You have your gear and you complete your mission. Looting goes as far as picking up an AK from a dead enemy and a few mags in case your gun runs dry. That's as it should be. Sometimes dead enemies will have bandages, meds, food or water, so that's another place to get that from in case you get greedy and ate everything you brought with you. Alright, let's wrap this up, shall we? Let's touch on the main points. This video is already long enough. Alright, we're going to start with the bad. Alright, number one is performance. The game is quite badly optimized and it can really ruin the experience for you if you don't have a beast PC. I'm sure it'll get better as the game nears full release, but as it is now, a lot of people who bought the game pretty much can't even play it just because their PC can't run it with decent FPS. Number two, bugs. Yes, there are bugs. Yes, there are problems. But that's what you get when you play an early access game, right? That's just how it is. We don't play through the bugs and crashes. How are the devs going to know and get them fixed? Remember, by playing the game in this state and reporting the bugs and issues, you're essentially part of the team, right? 3 is team killing on PvP servers. Currently, there are no consequences for team killing, which is something I think the dev team needs to get on ASAP because it creates a toxic community. People are just going to be toxic as hell and pissed, and it's going to be very hard to come back from that as a community. Number 4 is weapon customization. This could use some work just to make it more user-friendly and less confusing. Maybe more info on which attachments need, what to be used with your weapon of choice, and we need to see that in the vendor shop before we have to buy it. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's look at the good stuff. First and foremost, the game looks absolutely gorgeous, to the point where you can just walk around the jungle and just enjoy the view. Water reflections, clouds, distant mountains, all looks really, really very well made. And the foliage moves when you walk through, so that's a definite plus. 2. UI and menus are simple and to the point. No unnecessary nonsense, not trying to be different or artsy-fartsy. It just works. Number 3, AI is decent for the most part, but could use a bit of work here and there. And number 4, and that's the most important part, is the dev team. These guys have been on point since release, fixing bugs, dropping hot fixes like rock stars. I think maybe they even slept a few minutes, who knows? But they have embraced the state of the game and are listening to the community and player base, and that's important. They're taking the advice and suggestions of the community and inputting them into the game, and that is awesome. Alright, we're almost done, promise. So, let's answer the questions that we asked at the beginning of the video. Is it the best tactical shooter we've seen in a long time? Definitely yes. Is it the Tarkov killer? Maybe, we'll just have to wait and see. Is it what other tactical shooters should strive to be? Absolutely yes. Is it worth buying in its current state? Yes and no. Yes, if you have a PC that can let you enjoy it. I'd say take the recommended requirements, bump them up a notch, and if that's your rig, then buy it. If not, I'd say wishlist it and wait for further optimization, because it'll get there. And if your monitor is connected to your kitchen toaster, I'd say don't bother. This will never be a game that will run well on old PCs. And finally, is it any good? Yes, it's good. It's very good.
I am good, Rooster. I'm very good.
Well, alright folks, that was it. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this useful, informative, and I'd say hopefully this helped you decide whether to buy the game or not. And if you did enjoy this, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and see y'all in a future video. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.